Hiya. I'm just doing a follow-up to the previous Saga insurance video. We've settled. It took a while, which was really the main issue that I had with Saga. Everything just seemed to take forever. And it was an unfortunate set of circumstances that the accident, obviously, but the other thing was that when I took the insurance out, my wife was alive, and we had two cars, and there was a box to tick for having a hire car in the case of a total loss. I didn't tick it. Unfortunately, of course, my wife died. Second car went, and then I had the accident. And when the car was declared a total loss, I had to return the hire car. The hire car, that it took them 6 days to get me in the first place, but I had to return that. So I was then left without a vehicle, and I telephoned Saga on numerous occasions saying, come on, what's going on? You know, I live in the countryside, there's no public transport, I have health issues, hospital appointments, and so on. Can we settle this, please? But no, everything seemed to take 6 days. As I say, it took 6 days for them to get me a hire car in the first place, which is, if you've watched the previous video, was the most awful thing ever. I've never driven a car like it. Then it took 6 days for them to declare a total loss, and then they said they would pick it up and take it to an assessor's, of course, to try and screw as much money off it as possible, which they did. I wasn't happy with the settlement, but ultimately felt that I had to accept it because everything had dragged on so long anyway, and I needed to get a car. By this time, because of my predicament, my son-in-law had lent me his car, which meant that he was then, inconvenienced without a car. So I felt I had to return that as soon as possible. So I ultimately accepted their offer. I spoke to the guy when the guy was giving me the offer on the phone. I actually went on Auto Trader, and I explained to him that I'd bought the car just in February this year for £19,010. They offered me 16,300. They pushed it up by 100 to 16,400, but wouldn't go any higher. And I bought the car, as those of you who watched the channel before will know, from Arnold Clark. I looked at Arnold Clark. They had an identical car, very similar mileage, at 17,995. The guy then said to me, well, if you can find 3 examples of that and send it to us, we'll reassess. And I said, well, how long will that take? And he said, oh, well, could be 3 or 4 days. But the trouble was that they always said everything was going to take 3 or 4 days, and it never did. It always took nearer a week. As I say, I desperately needed to settle, so I just decided that I would accept the money. So ultimately, it took a month basically for them to settle the claim, which I think is bad. I know it's no one's fault, as I say, that that I didn't have a hire car for that duration. When I've reinsured my new car, I've actually added that in. I just felt that the time that everything took was just way too long. When they talking about the 6-day ritual, after them having told me that the car was a total loss, I waited. They told me that on a Tuesday or Wednesday, I can't remember which, but the following Tuesday morning I phoned them saying what's happening, and on that day, having been declared a total loss 6 days before, they were just collecting it from the repairers to take it to the assessors. So everything just took way too long. But anyway, it's done now, and I complained to them, and they sent me a hamper. The other issue that I have with them is that this is logged as a fault on my insurance. And I'm not happy about that. It wasn't my fault. The police attended, it was captured on video. They viewed the video, said it wasn't my fault, there was nothing I could have done, but it's logged as a fault for me because they can't reclaim the money from anyone. Because it was a minor on a bicycle, a 14-year-old guy on a bike, they can't recover their money from it. So it gets logged as a fault against me. Now this is just shows that, you know, the absurdity of the whole insurance system. You pay, you know, I've been driving for 50 odd years. You pay your insurance policy every year, you pay your premium to them. When it comes to the matter of you having to have a claim, they do not want to pay out, as everyone knows. They don't want to pay a penny out. And if they do, they want to get it back from someone else. And if they can't get it back from someone else, then I'm getting the blame. And I think that's wrong. I can understand, right? They cannot recover the money. Fair enough. But they could have a different identifier for that. It could be logged on my insurances as simply that is unrecoverable or whatever. But I don't think it should be logged as a fault. It's that, you know, anyone, you know, if I go to another insurance company to get insurance and they look at my insurance record, it's logged as that accident having been my fault, and it wasn't. You know, so that I'm not happy about, and I've complained about it, but that's just the way it is. So not happy about that. But anyway, that's it. As I say, I settled for less than I should have done. You know, they knocked off money for things like scratches. Now, I live in the countryside. Occasionally, you know, narrow roads, occasionally you'll get a branch scratching the side of the car. They were superficial scratches. I had actually bought some polishing compound just to polish them out. Unfortunately, just before the accident happened, I hadn't got around to doing it. But they knocked money off for that. It's ridiculous. The car's written off anyway. What difference does a couple of superficial scratches on the near side make? Anyway, that's what they do, as I'm sure you all know. So that's the end of it with Saga. Yeah, so now I've bought a new car, and this might upset or annoy some of you, but I've actually gone for a ice car, an internal combustion engine. I've sold the house. I'm actually stuck in a chain at the moment. I don't know when I'm going to be moving, but I'm going to be moving into Glasgow, and I've bought a modern apartment in there, and I won't have access to home charging, and knowing what it's like in Glasgow through, you know, visiting there because I've got family there and stuff, and trying to find public chargers that are available and work and so on, is just too much of a hassle for me. I'm not willing to do that. And on top of which, I mean, I do very little mileage anyway. You know, I'm getting on. I have health issues. I enjoy driving and I want to enjoy it, so I've decided to buy something that I will enjoy driving. Not that I didn't enjoy the electric car, I did, but it's just, I said, it's the charging issue with that, and I could have got, you know, a kind of, you know, I've always said in my previous videos that the Nero was a great car, but the most boring car I've ever driven. I could have got something a bit more exciting, electric, but the charging issue is just too much of a problem for me there. So I've gone internal combustion. But as I say, you know, in my defence, at the moment, my insurance, when I take out my insurance cover, it's for like 6,000 miles. I don't even do that. When I move to Glasgow, I'll do even less. Where I am here now, to do anything, to take the dog for a walk, to go to the shop, anything I have to do, to go to the post office, I have to get in the car and drive. When I move into Glasgow, I'll be able to walk to most things, so I'll be doing far less driving. And the driving that I will do will mostly be for pleasure. So anyway, that's it. That's the end of the Saga things. I say I got a hamper from them, believe it or not. Yeah, I'll keep doing these little videos, although I'm no longer a Nero pensioner. The next one, I'll tell you about about my new car. So speak to you soon. Bye for now.